We talk about this so casually as if you're not literally describing the relationship between a prey and her
a predator. Yes.
Mountain lions don't hunt mountain lions. When you talk about they're hunting like a small animal or whatever, like Sugarbush can go to a vegetarian mountain lion, okay, and be like, hey, you know, your friend Bobcat over there tried to eat me last night. I was just minding my own business and he like snuck up on me and I had to run away. And that other mountain lion will be like, Bob's a great guy. He's never tried to eat me. He's never tried to like attack me. What are you talking about, little squirrel?
Oh my God.
This is how it feels talking to men about other men.
Welcome to the Audacity, the podcast where we're not afraid to say, yes, it's all men. It's all men until there's no men.
That's right.
And I am the Sovereign Woman, joined here with my partner in crime, Lisa. What's up, girl?
Hey. And as always, we have a great show for y'all today. I'm so lucky, as always, to be joined by my partner in crime, the Sovereign Woman. And we have a great show for y'all today. We have some hot tea. We have a couple videos to react to, including some angry fast food robots, I think. And then we have some disturbing news coming out of Brazil, I think, where men are training for women to like say no to them when they're asking them out, I guess. And the whole trend is very disturbing. So we're going to take a look at that. And we have some smaller pieces of tea to react to, such as the upcoming draft, which a lot of y'all have tagged us in that for reasons that we will explain in just a little bit. And we have the Aubrey Plaza pregnancy news that I do feel like we have to comment on. And that is before we dive into our main topic, where we are going to talk about why it is, in fact, all men. It is all men. So get ready for that. We have an awesome graphic to discuss. And don't worry if you are listening on a audio-only platform, we will describe the graphic in detail and hopefully be able to put a link to it in the show notes as well. We have a Therapy or the Void, which y'all did vote for the Manosphere documentary, Inside the Manosphere with Louis Theroux. So we're going to discuss Therapy or the Void for all the men involved in that one. And I actually think we decided on last week's podcast that it will be officially renamed temporarily just for this 1 week, the Wood Chipper or the Void. That's what we decided on. So no therapy available. We are beyond that. We got to take more drastic measures. And of course, we have a crumpet segment for y'all that is by request, Zodiac themed. So we will be talking about each Zodiac sign's villain era after a breakup. And perhaps maybe another Zodiac themed ranking if we have time. So without further ado, we are almost ready to dive in, but not before I remind y'all to check out our amazing merch that we worked really hard on. We are hoping to have a couple new things up by the time that y'all are listening to this. So I'm going to go and check if anybody's made any suggestions as far as the merch. And we're going to add a couple new items. So be sure you check those out. And we also have other awesome offerings available on our YouTube memberships, which gets you access to our crumpet segments, 4 of them every month, for $9.99, as well as our Patreon, which Sovereign is going to tell you all about right now.
Yes. So we have new TVIP Patreon members. We have Jenny Vrock and we have Katia.
Yay!
I said that right.
Welcome, y'all.
Welcome. And if you have not joined our Patreon, become a TVIP. For perks like early access to every episode and the show notes, you'll get ad-free listening. You'll get our weekly bonus unhinged and uncensored crumpets after show, which Lisa was just speaking of. It is so much fun. Y'all will absolutely love it. You also get priority mailbag, and you get access to our private women's only community and chat channels just for you. So make sure you go over to patreon.com/audacity.
Yay. Thank you, Sovereign. All right. Well, let's dig in. We have men who are training to attack women in case they say no.
Oh, my God.
Men are training to attack women in case she says no. This misogynistic trend is sparking outrage in Brazil following a knife attack on a woman. Helena Anísio Rosa, 20, turned down a man who had been sending her flowers and chocolates. A month later, he broke into her home and stabbed her around 50 times. He only stopped when the victim's mother intervened after returning home in São Gonçalo near Rio de Janeiro. After the attack in February, Alana was placed in a medically induced coma and took weeks to recover following multiple surgeries. At the same time, a trend went viral on TikTok in Brazil showing men hitting or stabbing mannequins or imaginary people with the slogan, "I'm practicing in case she says no." According to Alana's mother, the attacker followed this type of content on social media. The case has raised concerns about increasingly common misogynistic posts and their potential impact on violence against women in Brazil. Last year, 1,586 femicides were recorded in the country, a record high. In response to the trend, many Brazilians have recreated it to show what they believe is the appropriate way to handle rejection.
Se uma mulher disser não, a melhor resposta possível é respeito.
A recent study from the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro found that 123 Brazilian YouTube channels promoting misogynistic content had reached a combined 23 million subscribers, an 18% increase over 2 years. Flavio Rolim, head of the Brazilian Federal Police's Cyber Hate Crimes Unit, described a process of radicalization among men. President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva recently said that men are becoming increasingly inhumane and violent. Several legislative proposals have been introduced to address this issue. One lawmaker has proposed criminalizing content that, in his words, leads to the death of women every day. Another bill already passed by the Senate aims to classify misogyny as a crime similar to racism, punishable by prison time.
That is absolutely awful.
Every day we stray
Pathetic.
further from the light. And if you couldn't see, these men were quote unquote like training to basically physically assault women. Like some of them were practicing kicks, some of them were practicing punches, some of them had knives and they were like stabbing imaginary women who were saying no. And apparently not even just imaginary women. A woman was in fact stabbed for saying no to a man.
What, 50 times? Is that what it
50
said?
times, and was in a medically induced coma for weeks before she could recover. Like, that is insane. If we saw levels of violence like this against men, the whole world would be in an uproar.
Absolutely.
The fact that it's just like a punchline to a joke is something that we as women, unfortunately, just have to live with.
And I've had conversations about this before on my YouTube channel where we talked about saying no and getting attacked for saying no and why women should have second Google numbers. And listen, I already know y'all are going to say, no, we shouldn't have to go through life like that. We shouldn't have to pretend. We shouldn't have to get a fake number in order to walk down the street. We should be able to just be free. I know y'all are going to say that. Listen, it boils down to, do you want to make it home tonight or not? Those are the times we're living in. I understand we absolutely should be able to walk down the street without dealing with men who can't accept rejection. I get it. But that's
absolutely.
not
you
not
should
what
be
we're
able
doing.
Because like in a perfect world, you should be able to be like, fuck no, motherfucker, leave me the fuck alone, you ugly ass bitch.
Absolutely. But we don't live in a perfect
can't do
world.
that. We don't live in that world.
Like you
and
might
then
not
God
make it
forbid
home.
people find out you spoke to him like that. And now he has an excuse to do
Yes,
whatever
they're gonna
he did.
still blame you.
They're gonna be like it was self-defense. He would have had hurt. His feelings would have hurt for the rest of his life.
Yes.
If he didn't avenge himself. Like literally.
Absolutely.
People will go to great lengths to excuse men.
Absolutely.
I mean, I know you guys have wanted us to talk about alpine divorce or whatever, where men just leave women, when they're hiking or whatever. Like there was a man recently who did not receive any jail time for doing that, for basically causing the death of his girlfriend by abandoning her, even after they found out that he did the same thing before. It wasn't even the first woman that he's done this to.
Yeah.
And he got away with it. So imagine
Absolutely.
if women were actually antagonizing men or actually just, saying no without any precautions.
Yeah.
This is not about how things should be. This is about the way that things are.
Facts.
And so that's all we're here to tell y'all. We're not endorsing it.
No.
We're not saying it's good. We're not saying it's
Absolutely
acceptable.
not.
We are just saying this is how you can
stay safe and stay alive. So yeah, really quickly, go to the App Store, get you a Google phone number. it's typically free, but sometimes, I don't know, it may cost $3.99 a month, or it's worth it. I think it's worth you not dying or getting kicked in the head or whatever because you told the man no. I don't know. But anyway, you'll get it. The guys, because I talked about this before. A lot of men will call you right then and there. Because see, back in the day, we all had landline phones before the cell phones. And we could say, oh, this is my phone number. And they just write it down because men walked around with a piece of paper and a pen, like that was normal to get women's phone numbers before the cell phones. And so, you could give a guy a fake name and a fake number and you was probably never going to see him again and it was fine. But now when you give a guy your number, they'll call you right then and there to see if the phone is going to ring. And I've seen women get attacked right in that moment because either physically or verbally attacked. The whole, fuck you then, bitch, you ain't no. And women have lost their lives because they will call right, and the guys feel humiliated, especially if their friends are like, oh, she played you, she gave you the wrong number. The phone will ring right then and there, just like it was your actual number. And then once you get away to safety, you can block them. This is just one suggestion. And yes, y'all leave in the comment section if you have other suggestions to help other women. But that's just mine for now. And try not to be overly rude. And I know y'all are gonna say we shouldn't have to. Just don't. Seriously.
You shouldn't.
This is just about being safe. That's all. I just want to put that out there. Just find ways to be safe. That's it. I want people to go home at night to their kids, to their family. This is senseless to die over your pride until we figure out, how to handle these, like, what is it called? The surplus men. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you live in America, you already know what to do. Absolutely. If you have that right, that is your Second Amendment right.
Absolutely.
And if you would feel safer being able to exercise your Second Amendment right, then you should do that.
By all means.
You should do that. Or at least carry some other form of something, pepper spray, taser, a knife, I don't know, something. Because they're literally out here machete. Training. Yeah, a sword. A dagger, a woman and her dagger. That's a bow and arrow. You know what? That'd be kind of cool, actually, if women would just go outside fully as a form of protest, just like medieval weapon, armed.
Oh my God. Please.
Yes. Listen, at least get you some steel-toed boots.
Something.
Yes. All right. Well, moving on, we have another video to react to, and then we'll do our couple honorable mentions.
California, that's where the world's first ever fully autonomous AI-powered restaurant has opened, complete with burger flipping bots.
This automated grill gives the meat its sizzle as this restaurant goes robotic.
For this burger, it would take about 120 seconds.
Cali Express by Flippy is the world's first AI-powered eatery. There's new technology outside the kitchen, too. A cheeseburger. Order kiosks use facial recognition to remember your favorite food, and how you like to pay. Then watch the robots work. No humans required.
We can't get enough people to come out to work on fryers and grills, and they're dangerous jobs. And this automation helps solve a lot of those issues.
62% of restaurants report being understaffed. Industry experts say most of those unfilled jobs could be done by robots.
I just love how they're trying to frame it like this is going to be good for everybody. This is going to be good for this is going to be good for society because people don't want to come do a low-paying job where you're replaceable and your job don't take you seriously. Oh, because we can't possibly make these work conditions better for you.
Oh,
you know what I mean? God forbid.
God forbid. My thing is, how much does it cost to buy and maintain?
Millions
and I know
of dollars.
They have to supervise these robots.
Millions
I know
of dollars,
they do.
I'm sure.
You saw this stuff they were doing. We'll put a link to the video, of course, if you're listening to this. But oh my God, these robots were what kind of things were training them? What kind of...
I'm sure.
Did you see the little one that they had to hold him back?
Yeah. What was that?
He doing?
I don't know.
What was he doing that they had to hold him back?
The amount of money. I just can't.
It's frivolous and it's stupid. And okay, be honest. Did any of that food look
absolutely
good?
The fuck up.
It looked crazy. Like, what was happening? What was that food? What was it supposed to be? The burger, the raw like burger coming out of the sides. Oh
120. What did he say?
120 seconds. Yeah, it should have been longer. Do they got a meat thermometer?
That's what me and Ryan was just talking about it before you got here. Like, would you even feel safe?
Poisoning.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I'm like, would they even know, like, if something is expired and they're using old whatever to cook? Like, do they know that? And then me and Ryan were talking about how we would prefer a human because a human would know, this needs a little bit more pepper. Or this needs a little bit more. Yeah, a robot wouldn't know that. But I would just be more concerned with getting food poisoning. And also, who would even want to eat here in jail? Why would you want a robot restaurant? I just can't. I don't even.
And the gag is it's going to cost just as much as any other burger. Like, it's not going to be cheaper, because I'm also like, this food better be 10 cents. But it's not. I know it's not.
It should be 10 cents.
Listen, what happens when the robot tries to, like, flip a burger, but the patty was made, like, with a little bit less meat than what it's normally used to?
Oh, I know.
And then it's trying to flip it onto the bun, and the burger patty goes flying off, and then it doesn't land on the bun, but the robot just keeps going because it can't tell. So it puts the cheese on, puts the lettuce on, puts the tomato on, whatever, and then serves it out to you. Who do you talk to?
Absolutely. What happens if it hits the floor? What happens if it? What happened? Are they sanitizing?
Yes.
The knives?
The hits the floor is a very interesting point, because you know how Roombas, like, people with pets cannot have a Roomba. Like, I don't have a Roomba because I know for a fact one day my dog is going to take a shit in the middle of the house. Like, there's something.
Oh my
dogs
God.
have stomach issues. You know what I'm saying? Like, my dogs are very good. Like, you know, they don't do nothing if they don't have to. But sometimes they're not feeling good and they got to shit in the house. It happens. You know, they're getting older. And I just know that one of these days, a Roomba would get into that, because they can't tell. They think it's just dirt. And then you
have to throw the Roomba away because it's just gonna smell like shit. So now you gotta. It's gonna spin shit around,
fling it.
You have to throw it away.
You have to throw the whole thing away. So I'm just saying, I'm just picturing stuff like that happening with the AI robots as well.
Also, is it going to know the difference between cutting meat with a knife and then cutting lettuce with a knife?
You know?
Raw meat, produce, same knife. Like, I'm just thinking about all of these things, and I just can't.
There's so many questions.
I can't do it.
I wouldn't feel safe at all, because also they can't tell if, like, a fly landed in your food or
oh my God!
something.
Please do not, do not talk about flies.
I'm just saying.
No. That's another thing.
Yeah. Or like, what if something developed like maggots overnight and they can't fucking tell? I'm just saying it happens.
I'm glad we're saying all of this because we want people to think. Please don't support this shit. Please do not support. All y'all got to do is not support this, and then they're going to waste their money, which is great. And then they're going to stop because they're going to say, oh, we're not going to pour another $17 billion into this fucking robot industry thing because no one's buying it. So that's all y'all got to do.
And they're so expensive.
Just don't buy it.
You guys literally have to think about, to function at the level of a human, it's like such an insult to humans because we took like millions of years to evolve into this.
Yes.
Like the things that we are aware of and the things that our body just knows how to do without even, you know, like our peripheral vision, like robots don't have that. Robots don't have like fine muscle control. Right. They don't know how to, you know, it would take so long to teach them the proper way that like they're wasting their time.
Yeah.
And I will have you know, it's already the AI bubbles popping. That Sora app, they've shut it down. The one that used to make videos. Yeah, they're shutting that down. There's like another big AI platform that's also shut down. Like they've announced it on social media. Like, thanks for the good times, but like it's just not profitable anymore, basically.
Hopefully we're living in times where humans are realizing that this is not a good idea and this is the number one way to extinct ourselves. This won't be natural selection. This will be us extincting ourselves. Like, why are we so fucking lazy? It's like you want a robot to do everything. Do you want a robot to pee for you? To hold the glass of water while you're drinking water? Like why do we want this?
I don't even know that people asked for it. I think that's the other part that's kind of contributing to this is like nobody actually asked for this.
I agree.
Like people were not over here asking for it. People are like happy to flip burgers and work at fast food restaurants if it's
since forever.
Underpaid and overworked. Like there was a time, and I don't know, y'all don't have to believe me. There was a time when working at a fast food restaurant, like you could still afford a 1-bedroom.
Oh, I remember. Pretty
easily. Like a 1-bedroom used to cost $400, $500, $600. When I first moved here, our first like 1-bedroom apartment was like $532, I remember. And yeah, it's, wasn't great, but people would be lucky to have that apartment now for like $1,500.
Absolutely.
So yeah, you just got to pay people more and then you can stop all this fucking around and wasting money on robots. This is such a late stage capitalism endeavor. Like it's you're right. It's only going to just run everything into the ground.
Yeah. And I'm so glad when they want to get rid of human jobs, rely on robots and AI, and then they're going to waste millions, maybe even billions of dollars for nothing. And nothing makes me happier to know that you did all of that thinking, whatever you were thinking, like you were not thinking, apparently. Like you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't want to get into that, but I just wonder, are we going to be on UBI soon? Because if robots are taking all the jobs, how is anybody going to be able to buy anything?
The robots are going to be unemployed. The robots are going to be I got to support my family.
Exactly. I just don't know where this is all headed. It just doesn't seem like a good outcome. I just don't get it. But yeah. That was funny, though. It was funny watching that first robot.
It was really funny one. The first robot just... Why was he humping it? What was he trained on?
I feel like, wasn't that clip a little bit longer than that?
Material.
I think it was cut off a little bit.
Yeah, I think it was cut off.
He was going for a nice little minute on the, like...
He's going in on that dough. I mean, listen, you don't need to knead it that hard.
Okay, that link, make sure y'all click that link and go watch it, and please read the comments, because
the comments are always the best part.
God.
TikTok is, I'm never deleting that app.
I know,
ever. All right. Well, we have a couple honorable mentions from this week. So we've been tagged a lot in all the news articles and videos about the draft, the mandatory draft that the U.S. is now instituting. And people are saying like, oh, you guys called it, because we talked about surplus men in our episode. And we said, y'all are going to get sent off to a war. And,
we're always calling things over here.
I was going to say, we kind of...
Welcome to the Audacity.
Welcome, exactly. Where we predict the future.
I love that one. Actually. That's a good one.
Yeah. It's just, this is what happens. This is the pattern. And just to be very clear, anytime I talk about this, I do get, pushback sometimes from well-meaning people when they're like, well, that's not good. It's not good for like men to go to war. Like that's very capitalist, like blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying they should. I'm saying this is a warning. Like this is me trying to warn the men that like, hey, this is us, telling you, just letting you know what's going to happen. Like this could be your future. That's not us like reveling in it. It's not us being like, oh, like good. I mean, I don't really care either way. Like it doesn't really affect me, but like, that's the thing is like men always think we're saying this stuff to like flex on them. And it's like, oh, we're not trying to flex on you. We're just letting you know that the patriarchy hurts you too. That patriarchy will eat you alive, just like it will us. You think that like all the bad stuff's happening to women. Like, no, you're going to go to war.
Absolutely.
And it's not going to be that fun. That's all it is. I mean, we already know there's people in the Navy like rebelling against.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard about the sailors on that ship, and they were like, oh, it's having all these plumbing issues, and the facilities aren't working, and then they go to like unclog the toilets and they're full of clothes. Like the men were flushing their clothes to clog up the freaking, like, you guys are not going to have fun.
So funny.
You're going to be on a ship in the middle of the ocean with a bunch of other dudes. Like, it's going to be a total sausage fest. Like,
yeah. And this is just the way my brain works. I'm thinking that if you get sent to war when you don't want to go, your chances of dying is nearly 100%. Because I don't think you're going to have the mindset you have to want to be there. You have to be. And I know they train people. They train you mentally. They break you mentally. They break you down to build you back up to be what they want you to be. That's how they're able to do that in the military. But it's like, you're going to die. Like, you're probably not going to come back.
Sociopaths will succeed. I promise you.
Literally.
I promise you.
You would literally have to become a sociopath in order to even halfway survive.
Yeah.
But these Gen Z guys are afraid of their own goddamn shadow. So there's no way they're going to want to go, and then if you're forced, I just don't think they're going to be in the right mindset to survive. I'm just saying. I don't know.
Right.
But maybe that's what's supposed to happen. Maybe they're supposed to go to die. I don't know. I'm not really sure.
And, that's up to that's our government's opinion. So there you go. Like, again, the government that a lot of them voted for.
Oh, yeah.
We warned you.
We can't forget that part. I think they should go first. The people who voted for this, they should be on the front line.
You should be the most proud to defend this country.
Absolutely.
That you voted for. All right. And we had, I think I teased, there's a couple things that, is kind of tea this week. We talked about, before we hit record, we talked a little bit about Bieber Coachella and how that was kind of interesting. I know some people found it very powerful, and that's fine. And for those that don't know, Justin Bieber's Coachella set, which you guys will be listening to this post the second weekend of Coachella, so I don't know if he's going to change the set because there's been a lot of pushback. But he went up on stage and he broadcast some of his old YouTube videos to the big screen and kind of sang karaoke style over it, singing with his younger self, which is beautiful. But that is not a $10 million performance. You should have taken less money, or you should have not been a headliner. I don't really know. It's just white man mediocrity.
I was just gonna say, yeah.
If a woman did that, come on, if freaking Beyonce came up there and did that, they would crucify her.
And
any woman.
And they show you how much they feel about you as a woman based on how much they pay you versus how much they pay the guy. So the money difference shows you exactly how they feel. But it's just the point that if you're a woman, you can't do anything right. Nope. You could be a woman and do the most bang out performance and you're still going to get the lower amount of money. And it's just I don't even know how people still do it. I would have been walked
I
away.
wouldn't be, I know. And people are just defending him left and right. They're like, he's healing his inner child. And I'm like, well, it sounds like he should have paid you guys for that. Sound like you guys should have each got at least $10 or something. He could have just thrown a bunch of the money out into the crowd. Why'd you pocket the $10 million?
Free money?
That's what I'm saying. It's didn't he have to sell his entire catalog recently? It's giving money troubles. It's giving grift.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah.
I always wonder what they're reporting, if it's actually accurate. Because sometimes I think they be lying, but I don't know for sure.
You mean as far as how much they got paid?
Yeah, or when somebody say, oh, such and such house is worth $100 million. Is it really worth it? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
We'll see how much it sells for.
Right.
Yes. And then another honorable, really quick tea mention is the Aubrey Plaza pregnancy announcement. And this is a very whitely beloved actress. And so a lot of dudes are just really mad about it. She's been in some of people's favorite shows like The White Lotus, Parks and Rec. And so all of these shows are beloved by the majority of the people watching it are white men. And Aubrey Plaza is one of those women that I think a lot of them could see themselves with. She's kind of the quirky, weird, funny girl, infamously April Ludgate on Parks and Rec. So she's kind of the manic pixie dream girl. And so a lot of these guys, I think, just had different expectations of her. They didn't think that after, for those that don't know, her husband committed suicide about a year ago. And we found out, all of us in the wake of that they had been separated for a year prior to that. And so it's been plenty of time for her to move on and find another man and get pregnant. And that should not be a big deal. Men will bring their new girlfriend to their wife's funeral. We're not going to stop and talk about that.
Shout out
but
to
I think
Shira
the men, yes. But I think the men are just so mad because she's not supposed to be happy. It's kind of like you talk about Sierra. She was always supposed to be a baby mama.
Yeah.
Aubrey Plaza was always supposed to be a mourning widow. Like, she was never supposed to move on.
They were
especially to not get pregnant by another man. Like that, I think they see that as like an insult. And so now they're like, oh, she's one of these.
Yeah.
You know,
they're so terrified of the whole legacy thing that I think that plays with a lot of their minds, because it's like they see in real time women will move on quickly after you're dead, which to me, a year is plenty of time.
2 years.
And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm sorry to say this, but he killed himself. So at the end of the day, like,
he said, I'm out.
I don't know what he was going through. I'm not, you know, I think when people kill themselves, they literally feel alone, and they, you know, and I feel bad for them, because for you to want to kill yourself, you have to be going through something. Right.
Absolutely.
However, he died. He didn't care about what his death was going to do to her. I'm not trying to be funny. And y'all expect her to just mourn over somebody who killed himself forever?
No, literally, like, for
I mean,
how
I'm
long?
just saying, like, what?
Yeah,
and they were.
If she wanted to have kids, like, these same men are going to be like, oh, your eggs are going to dry up, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm glad they didn't in
have
her
kids
mid-30s, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm really glad they didn't have kids together. What a traumatizing thing for those kids to experience, you know?
But they did the same thing to Vanessa Bryant, Kobe Bryant's widow. Like, it's been 6 years. And and they said it was a rumor that she was dating somebody. But even if she was, it's been 6 years. Even if she was,
oh my God.
like, leave that woman alone.
It wasn't her fault that he died. Like, what the hell?
I really do think a lot of it is just the guys.
I will never publicly shame a woman. No. Never. I refuse. I'm done with it. Nope. And if she was cheating on him, so what? I don't care. and if they ended on bad terms because of her, I don't care. It
sounds to me like that relationship was probably on the rocks anyways.
Right.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I just don't.
That's not a healthy person to be in a relationship
Absolutely
with, regardless
not.
of how you want to spin it. And like, I'm not blaming anybody or anything, but that was
totally
traumatic
agree.
for her. I don't blame her for wanting to start over and like forget the whole thing. Why would she be stuck there?
Right.
For the rest of her life? That's crazy.
If he was alive, somebody would have probably put him in a psych unit. I'm just saying.
Yeah, exactly. So delete your comments, delete the paragraphs. I'm not even going to argue about this. I do not care. So, all right, well, moving on. We are going to take a quick little break, and then we will be back to talk about why it is, in fact, all men and not just some men. Stick around. Welcome back, and we are here to discuss a graphic that we have been asked to talk about before. We have had quite a few requests saying that we could make a whole episode just out of talking about this graphic, because it's one of those things that I know you kind of mentioned this last week too, but it's like sometimes people just can visualize something or like explain something in a way that makes so much sense. Mm-hmm. And this is a graphic that is made in response to the not all men argument that a lot of men, unfortunately, do tend to make when you bring up issues that are prevalent in men. They'll say, well, not all men do that. And so for those of y'all that can't see, I'm going to briefly describe the graphic. And if you can see, you might want to take a peek at your screen right now. And so the graphic says, I've learned that a lot of guys visualize our social environment like this. And it has this like kind of progress bar looking thing where about 95% of the space is white, and it says, and it's labeled good men. And then there's like this little bar at the very end that is red, and it is labeled crazed evil men. So basically a lot of guys think of our environment as it's 95 or more % good men, quote unquote. And then there's this like very small percentage of crazed evil men that are like committing crimes and like doing the worst things that we can imagine. And I do think that that's true. I do think a lot of guys really think that it's like this. And in the graphic they say, but it's actually closer to this. And the graphic is a gradient that turns from white to like a pink to like a darker red and then a very dark red. And every step along the way that it gets darker, it's labeled. And so the white part is labeled heroic men who will intervene. So, and it's a small chunk of the graph. Then you transition into well-meaning men who underestimate the issue. Then you transition into men who think predation is an unfortunate fact of life. Then right about in the middle, it says men who think certain women deserve it, but they themselves aren't active predators. Then you go into the second half of the graph and you've got men who passively enjoy/consume/encourage predation. Then you have textbook predators we're all aware of. And then at the very, very end of the graphic, the darkest red area is monsters so cruel we can't even fathom them. And so that's a more realistic representation of what we as women are actually dealing with when it comes to good men versus bad men. And so when we say that it's all men, that's exactly what we mean. Like what you see on the graphic, that's exactly what we mean. We mean it's so much more than men realize, that the graphic is almost inverse. It's like there's actually so few good men when you really, really think about it that like would meet that criteria, because a lot of men don't realize that those first parts of the gradient where it starts to turn red is also being a bad man. Like it is being a bad man. Like thinking that is just an unfortunate part of life that women have to protect themselves from. Like men who, I mean, this graphic, there's, areas that it doesn't even cover, like men who don't call out their friends when they make sexist jokes, like men who don't believe women, even when there's like ample evidence. There's men who get in comment sections on Reddit and TikTok, and, whenever there's an act of violence committed against a woman, they always have questions. Yes. As if, as if there's like stuff that can justify a woman being violated against her. Well, what was she wearing? Well, what was she doing? Blah, blah, blah. So those are bad men. Like those guys are bad men, but they think that they're good men. Yep. They think that they're just bringing nuance to the conversation. They think that they're just, playing devil's advocate or whatever. So that's what we're here to talk about. I just wanted to set that up. And I know we both have a lot of thoughts. So do you want to kick us off?
It's just a lot of guys really don't think that they're the problem. And we're saying it's all men, and you are a part of the problem or you are a part of the solution. So since the vast majority of y'all are not a part of the solution because you're not doing anything, like Lisa said, you don't call your friends out. You make excuses for men when you find out that they shot someone in the foot, or when a woman is raped, what was she wearing? All of that. So even if you yourself as a man are not out here actively harming and raping women and stuff, you still are a part of the problem because you're not doing anything. Like you're not doing anything, and you may be even making excuses and saying, well, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying I understand, a man can snap. You are not a good person either. And I'm sorry, but that's just what it is. Okay.
There's no reason for that. Yeah.
I love using this this phrase. I think you probably know what I'm going to say, from Mean Girls. This is my favorite phrase. There's two types of evil people in the world. The people who do evil things, and the people who see evil being done, but they don't stop it. They don't do anything about it. And so a lot of you guys who are I'm not raping anybody. I don't put my hands on women, but you're not doing anything. You're just sitting back. When you see a woman getting attacked in the street, you're like, I don't got a problem. I don't know her. She ain't. And I'm not saying you're supposed to put your life in jeopardy, but I'm saying if it's enough of y'all and y'all are all on y'all manly shit, y'all can go stop that man from putting his hand on that woman. You just don't want to.
And anecdotally, it is largely women that help other women when bad things happen to them in public. Now that we have phones, and men can't really perpetuate this baseless narrative that there are protectors. Now that we have phones, we actually see that women are the protectors. Men will just stand by and do absolutely nothing. So how are you not all men?
Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful question.
The nerve.
So what I've gathered is whenever you hear men say it's not all men, they are almost always reacting from an emotional place. They're like, what you mean? No, it's not all men. And what they're trying to do is other themselves. Like they don't actually care about what's being talked about. They don't care who's harmed. They don't care what the story is. They just want to make sure you don't see them that way. Even if they are that way, they don't want you to see that they're that way. So they can have a shot or a chance at you or whatever. They want to protect their ego. That's pretty much where it's coming from. It's coming from a place of emotion. And so These are
and a place of like lack of empathy.
lack of empathy.
Yeah.
That's
because
huge.
It's like, imagine somebody tells you like, I don't feel safe around men, like period. Like I never know, like I could be walking down the street and a man could be like aggressive towards me for no reason. Like he said hi and I didn't respond back within 1 second exactly. So then he's like, bitch,
You're
fucking
exactly.
slut. Like that, I don't feel safe, you know? And like you tell that to somebody and they say, well, I've never done that personally, so it's not all men.
Yeah.
I know it can't be all men.
That's another thing. None of these men who you talk to, none of them, they never know any man who has ever harmed a woman, beat a woman, raped a woman. They never know. Not nobody in my circle. Not in my circle. They love saying that. And it's like, really? So all these women all over the world with the same stories are just what? Making it all up?
Just making it up.
Really? I don't know.
For attention.
None of my friends do nothing like that. I don't, you know. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
I love when they say women are making it up for attention and the attention is she deserved it.
Yes.
What was she wearing?
Yes.
Why
oh my
would
God.
she be there? You know, she gave him the wrong signal.
That is such a good point.
That's the attention that you guys think women are
want.
Faking it for.
Yeah.
That's fucking
And we
crazy.
already know ahead of time. That's why so many women don't even report when things happen. Because we already know the attention we're going to get is that we're going to be blamed. We're going to be asked what we were wearing. We're going to be asked, did we provoke him? What did we say? What happened? Why did he just haul off and hit you? He didn't just haul off and hit you and blacken your eye for nothing. We already know that's the attention. So what woman would just make that up for that kind of attention? So many women don't even.
Apparently millions of us.
Probably even in the billions at this point. Seriously. But that's why so many women don't even tell. So when we hear these statistics, there's always a whole nother set of numbers of people, another set of women in high numbers that has not said anything. So let's say we seen some stats that said, oh, only 25% of women report being raped every year. I don't know what the numbers. I'm just making it up. It's probably really closer to like 60.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or whatever the number
absolutely.
is, you can add a couple,
Well, because every woman has like an infinite amount of friends who have at one point confided in her that a man did something to her at a party or in a relationship or her dad or her cousin or her uncle, whatever. And you confide that in a close circle of friends. But if I were to ask all of these women, I know for a fact they haven't reported it. So it's like, how do I know, like personally, so many women that have gone through something haven't reported it, but we're relying on reported statistics.
Absolutely.
It's much higher.
It's much higher.
And honestly, if men were like asking women about their actual experiences with men, like they would know the same thing. The reason that it's so foreign to them is because, obviously your buddy is not going to tell you, oh, hey, like the other night. And mind you, there are some men that will talk like
they
this
would.
And will brag about it.
But
and
the most of them
for sure.
won't.
But most of them are not going to tell you like, hey, the other night, this girl really wasn't trying to have sex with me, so I spiked her drink.
Right. Exactly.
But some men will write lyrics about it and perform them, like Rick Ross.
Yes.
Put some Molly in her champagne.
Why was I just listening to that song?
Right. But you know what? Like that, it's literally just out there. So it's like, how are we supposed to believe that it's not all men when it's like, we're all just singing along to it? Like,
absolutely.
Listen.
Right.
That's part of it. It's like, it just normalizes it, makes it part of the culture.
And it's so disheartening because more women are still going to go through these things and so many men are going to get away with it because the women don't want to. They don't want that negative attention. They don't want to not be believed. Sometimes that's even more hurtful, is to go through something like that and then confide in someone and they're like, they either blame you or they don't believe you, whichever one. And it's like, that's just like pouring salt on the wound. Like it's already hard. And now you just made it, like they're assaulted all over again, basically. It's just like, what the fuck? When I say the men are reacting from an emotional place, a lot of it has to depend on the mindset of the men saying it. So you got the men who are saying it because they are defensive. They're trying to defend themselves. Then you got the men who say it's not all men because they're trying to avoid the issue at hand. And then you got the ones who feel ashamed or maybe even some guilt because maybe they are that guy and that's their way to self-preserve or protect their identity or whatever. It's not all men. And then you have the ones who have zero awareness about women's lived experiences. Like there's a lot of men that like just go through everyday life and they have no idea what women go through every day. It's just like if you watch a Discovery Channel and you see like a little mole or a little squirrel out just minding her own business, you know, looking for food. And then next thing you know, a fox. Yeah. Sugar bush. You see a fox or a mountain lion or something just comes out of nowhere and it frightens the squirrel. The squirrel goes into fight or flight. And now she's finna run for her life and run for cover and climb a tree or hide under. That is literally what women go through on a regular basis. When we see men and our defenses go up, we have this fight or flight. Or even when men try to holler at you, because that builds anxiety for a lot of women too. Like I know me personally, I feel some kind of way when I know a guy is finna try to talk to me. And the reason why is because I already know the answer is finna be no, I'm not interested. 100% of the time, I'm not gonna be interested. I'm minding my own business. I'm trying to shop in peace. Most likely I have on my AirPods. Like I don't even want to be talked to at all. Like, so, and then it's like if a guy hits on you and you say no, now you got to worry about how he's going to react. Is he a guy who can accept rejection or not? So a lot of times women just try to avoid all of that. We do live our lives and it may not be like paranoid fear at all times, like it's on 10 at all times. No, but there's always this thought in the back of your mind as a woman when you walk out the door. What am I wearing today? Is it going to be a lot of people where I'm going? Is it going to be a lot of guys there? Will I be safe? Like these things go on in the back of our mind. And it's so normal that it becomes like a subconscious thing. Like some women probably are not even aware that they walk around living with this like internal thought of how to be safe, or maybe I shouldn't go here today, or maybe I shouldn't do that. And men don't understand that. They don't live that reality.
And we talk about this so casually as if you're not literally describing the relationship between a prey and her predator.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, what do you mean?
Literally.
Like mountain lions don't hunt mountain lions. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like when you talk about they're hunting like a small animal or whatever, like, you know, sugar bush, it's like, yeah, like sugar bush can go to a vegetarian mountain lion, okay, and be like, hey, you know, your friend Bobcat over there tried to eat me last night. You know, I was just minding my own business and he like snuck up on me and I had to run away and like I don't even know how I got away. And that other mountain lion will be like, Bob's a great guy.
Yeah,
he's never tried to eat me. He's never tried to like attack me. What are you talking about, little squirrel?
Oh my God. That's exactly
that's literally that's it in a nutshell. Like if this is how it feels talking to men about other men.
Yeah.
They're like, no, he wouldn't do that. Not to you, you dumb bitch.
Yeah.
Like, what is wrong with you? Of course not. Of course not to you. You're another man. He actually respects you. He actually wants you to fucking like him. He wants you to like think he's cool. Obviously, he's not going to like abuse you. He's not going to try and like assault you. But he will do that to a woman whom he doesn't respect, whom he knows nobody's going to believe. He knows his buddies are not going to believe her. He knows bro code is going to kick in and the guys are going to have his back and they're going to say, no, he's a great guy. He's never done anything like that I know of. They always put a little disclaimer,
Absolutely.
you know, not that I know of.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So like that tells me enough.
It does.
Say that. That's plausible deniability.
Absolutely. And we always use this example too of how men know it's all men. Because of how overprotective they act over their daughters, their sisters, when they go out. Because it's like, if it's not all men, what's the problem? And remember a couple weeks ago, we played that video of that lady saying, oh, if it's not all men, then leave your kids with a male babysitter, right? Why won't you do that? What's the problem? It's not all men, right? What's the issue, right? They know. They just don't want to face their own demons, or they don't want to admit it, or they don't want to believe it. In some cases, they just don't want to believe that Bob would actually go after Sugar Bush. Like, you know what I mean? They
really don't.
They don't want to believe it.
It's just easier for them to not believe it. And it's easier for them because they think that people are going to automatically see that they're a man and not like, like they think it's going to like give them a bad name. And it's like, how the fuck do you not realize men already have a bad name?
Yeah.
Like women already see you and don't want to talk to you. And your denial of the fact that it is the way that it is only contributing further to that. Like you guys are not going to deny your way out of this one.
Right.
You have to accept it. You have to start doing something about it. You have to start becoming the solution instead of staying the problem because it's hurting everybody at this point.
Yeah. So remember when we talked about how the only reason why it's scary to go out at night is because men exist? If you really think about it, the things that we fear in life every day, like oh, I don't want to go here or I don't want to go out there, it's because of men. That's it. Yes, you can be attacked by a mountain lion walking at night. But that's not what we're afraid of. We're not thinking about mountain lions attacking us every day. We're more afraid of being attacked, beaten, raped, maybe even murdered by men. Going outside at night and walking down dark alleys would not be a fear of women if it were not for men. And I want that to sink in. Like, it's because they exist. Like, it is because they're here. If they were to go away, of course, they're going to say, oh, well, who's going to build the buildings and who's going to, build society? It's like, we don't even need this shit. So goodbye. Yeah. You mean to tell me that we would have to trade our safety for some buildings that we don't need? Oh, give us the buildings we don't need. No, I don't give a damn. Like, the men can go.
Give me the crumbling infrastructure.
Absolutely.
Mind you,
for my safety?
I will, and I'll do my best to remember to send this to Ryan. There's a video, actually, that has photographic evidence of women doing all of those jobs that only men can do. They're hauling flour sacks. They're coal mining. They were like when the men went off to war, they were doing everything. Baling hay. They were doing chimney sweeping. They were doing road maintenance. Everything that needed to be done, women were doing it. Yeah, shoveling things, like shoveling gravel. So there's literally, that's not even a concern, actually. Yeah, like women will just do it. Like we will just
do it. So. And the things that we don't even need, we won't even bother. Like we're not going to be wasting money on
and resources on all this.
We're not going to be stealing AI the resources. Robots. Absolutely. Yeah. We wouldn't even be wasting our money on that. Like, we don't even need it.
Imagine all the money that we would like free up to do actual medical research when we no longer have to worry about men are balding. God forbid. Yes. Let's pour billions of dollars into how to regrow hair. Yeah. Men's dicks don't work. Let's pour billions of dollars into like research and Viagra and all this stuff. Trying to free up the money. We will have cancer cured in like a week if you just left women alone.
I swear.
Like honestly. It would be a thing of the distant past.
Especially since in some cases, men are the ones causing some women cancer in the first place.
Imagine like the relief on every woman's collective like nervous system. Just the actual healing that would occur.
The autoimmune diseases would clear up for a lot of people.
The inflammation goes down.
Because as women, and I'm saying generally speaking, we would be more concerned with finding the cure, not a treatment that's going to keep you on medications forever like how men do with these pharmaceutical companies. No, we would actually want to heal. Let's find the cure for healing, which is what the witches had discovered many things that could, help humanity. And then they were burned at the stake for. So we already know there's a history of women, like what we would do if we I don't want to say if we were. I don't want to say if we were the ones in power, because I don't even think we would even want to be lording over
power
people. It wouldn't even be a thing.
Concept.
Yeah, it's a man thing.
I was gonna say, like, we get morality from women, if anything.
Absolutely.
Like we get like men are not a good moral compass. Like
not at all.
We've talked about this before. It's like lower the age of consent. And
when you'll see,
like, it's the law,
right? You will see how deep,
like, you're not a moral
shallow
authority.
Their morality is.
Yeah, you're
absolutely.
terrible.
Absolutely. But anyway, just really quickly, I'll give you guys the psychology kind of behind why these guys respond this way. When you hear them saying it's not all men. Well, let's talk about the defensive men. So so remember, I said the 4 was the men who are defensive, the guys who are avoiding the issue, the guys who feel shame, and the men who just don't have any awareness of what women go through every day. So the first one, defensive men, they take criticism about men very personally. So they're going to defend it because they take it personal. They don't want to actually deal with whatever the issue is. So they try to distance themselves from the other guys. Like, I'm not like other men. They don't even care what's true. They only care about protecting their identity. That's it. That's it. So that's the kind of the psychology behind the defensive men. So then you got the men who try to avoid the issues. And they will do this if you're ever having a conversation with them. The first thing they're going to do is try to shut down the conversation. These are the main men who try to project men's issues onto women. So they will be like, well, women do it too. Well, women are just as bad. You know, these are the men who are just trying to avoid the issue. So then number 3, you have the men who feel uncomfortable, mostly because of shame. It hits close to home whenever they hear women talking about some shit that men did or said or whatever. So it hits close to home because they themselves have either done the same thing or something similar, and or they know men who have personally done it. So that's why they feel uncomfortable. So I will always die on the hill that men who defend certain behaviors defend them because they are that man secretly.
100%. Yeah.
They're guilty as fuck of it themselves. Or they know men who has done it that they're close to, and they just don't want to accept it. So saying not all men makes them feel better. They also think that if they say not all men to people, it might shift suspicion away from them. That's another thing. So if they're sitting there like, what kind of men you been around? Well, that's crazy. You know, sometimes, a lot of times, those men are the number one culprits. They just know that if they say certain things, it'll make people be like, oh, he was genuinely distraught when he heard what that guy did to that woman. I don't think he would ever do that. But yes, he would. 9 times out of 10.
Yes, he would.
That's just another manipulative tactic that they use. They try to make it seem like they're so far removed.
Hit dogs hollering.
And it really is. And that's the crazy thing. They don't even realize they're telling on themselves. But if you didn't know this as a woman watching this, just start paying attention and you'll start to pick up on those patterns. Like, you know what? Like how we talk about the men who are overly homophobic, like outrageously homophobic,
super homophobic,
are on the down low themselves, or they are either on the down low actively, or they are fighting those homophobic demons. Yeah. So either way, listen, they're trying to overcompensate. And then lastly, the men who are completely oblivious to women's experiences, they don't really understand what we are speaking about because we've actually lived these things. They don't live these things. And so a lot of times people don't really understand how something feels unless they've gone through it themselves. So men don't typically walk around on eggshells in fear on a regular basis the way women do. They might, when they get around certain men that they're afraid of, they might, but for the most part, that's not their fear. They're not afraid to go walking at night for the most part. The worst that might happen to them is they might get robbed of their wallet. You know, maybe. You know, some thugs may roll up and be like, give me your watch. The worst that will happen to them. But they're not worried about being beheaded and raped and thrown in a ravine somewhere the way women, you know what I mean? It's just not there.
Put in a blender.
Yeah, they're not really. They're not walking around with that fear of other men in that way. So, like as women, we see patterns across different types of men, different races, different income brackets, older, younger, etc. It doesn't matter. A lot of these men will do some of the same things. And so it's like you can't say something like, "Oh, he's successful. He would never rape a woman." Yeah, they're the main ones because they feel, especially if you tell a man like that, no, yeah, oh, it's over because bitch, you're not going to tell me no. That's the mindset that they have. So they're more likely, in my opinion, they have the power, the money, the resources to actually get away with it as well. Some of them, you know, like we think of Diddy, had judges and police officers in their back pocket. Yep. So that they can get away with things. Epstein, Trump, sorry, but I'm just saying, like, you can get away with stuff. I'm just saying. I mean,
absolutely.
I don't know if you might have cut Trump.
A convicted felon. No, you don't have to cut it out. He's literally a convicted felon. Yeah. Running an entire country. It's going exactly as you would expect. So And nobody's like holding him accountable.
Yeah.
All these other men are like, yeah, he's just joking, guys. He's just joking.
Yeah.
That's his sense of humor. He just jokes about, genocide. He's just joking when he posts a video of a woman getting shot and killed on his freaking Truth Social.
Absolutely.
That's just a joke.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, this is what men are doing. And then they're saying, but it's not all men. You are the all men. All of you are the all men.
Yes. And
what do you mean? You're just sitting there quietly being like, and if anything, you're supporting it. If anything, you're minimizing it. If anything, you're only thinking about how it affects you.
Yeah.
So therefore, literally, yes, you are the all men. Like when women say all men, we definitely include the men who just don't give a fuck about anything other than how this is going to affect them. And they're like, oh, now my dick's going to be more dry because women are looking at me funny.
It doesn't have
to. It was always going to be that way. If this is how you feel. Because like you were, I know where you're going, I think. Because like if you were, well, to me, it's like if you were actually like treating women nicely, like if you were actually, if you were not part of the all men, like your dick wouldn't be dry.
You wouldn't have a problem.
You wouldn't have a problem.
You wouldn't.
Those guys don't have a problem.
They don't. They're not on social media arguing with women. They are not like scared about not leaving a legacy. Men who treat women right and see women as human, they don't have this issue. I promise you, they don't have this issue.
They don't have to worry about being lumped in with all men.
No, they don't. And they don't care because they know they're not that guy. They're not. If it don't apply, let it fly, right?
Yeah, and they also are empathetic enough to understand that if women have to think like that, we should be allowed to think like that.
Absolutely.
Because we do have to think like that, unfortunately.
We do.
Because if we don't, then guess what? Here come the men being like, why didn't you think he was going to do that?
Oh my God.
You were dressed like that. Would a lion leave a piece of meat alone? And like, we're back to the predator prey thing.
I know.
Like, we're back to the fucking, so you are also a predator. That's why you're justifying predatory behavior.
Yeah, absolutely.
How else do you explain that? Like, it makes sense to you in your mind that a man would prey on a woman if she was not careful enough. So A, it is all men, and B, you are one of them. You're one of the predators. Because the predator mindset makes sense to you.
It's just like if you are witnessing a gang rape or something. You might not be a part of the actual men that are doing the raping, but you're the watchman. You're standing outside the door. You know it's happening. You're just as culpable. Like I don't even understand why men don't. I don't know if they're pretending not to understand that or they really just don't have the mental faculties. I'm not sure. But you are facilitating it. So you are a part of the problem. In a court of law, you would be convicted of something, be an accomplice. An accessory, right? Because you are helping them. You're helping them to achieve their depravity. So it's like you're not going to get off the hook. And even so, like right now, more and more women are walking away from relationships. More and more women are going their own way. More and more women are talking about being modern day golden girls. Right? And stuff like that. Living in women communities. It's only going to get worse. So as a man, you're going to have to really pick a side at this point. Because remember we were talking about how the patriarchy harms men, but the only reason why men don't want to dismantle the patriarchy is because in the back of their minds, they're in the friend zone of the patriarchy. Hoping, they're waiting in the wings, hoping that one day they'll get their shot at being in power. And being able to get away with things and being up there with the billionaire or millionaire men who can do what they want and be invincible. So they don't really want to dismantle it because it's going to kill their shot in their minds, right? So they're in the friend zone of the patriarchy, if you will. The same way men are in the friend zone with women when they're like, she doesn't want to sleep with me. She doesn't look at me like that. She wants me to be her friend. I want to be her friend. Hopefully one day I'll catch her in a vulnerable moment and she'll give in to me. That's the reason why the men don't want to shut down the patriarchy from my perspective. But it hurts them. Like you're hurt too. Like you're hurting. And it's like,
well, because that's kind of the thing is like, again, the predator prey illustration. It's like Prey figure it out. They figure out how to warn each other.
Yeah.
They figure out how to work in a group. They figure out hiding places and stuff like that. Whereas like you, as a predator, you're on your own and other predators are your enemy.
Oh, beautiful.
And that's how men feel. That's why there's a loneliness
did it again,
epidemic.
people.
That's why stop. Thank you.
It's so that's the perfect analogy. Oh my God, it's so true. And that's what's happening. They're on their own. And now your biggest enemy in competition has always been other men, but now more so. Because y'all got to figure out now, y'all don't know where the prey are hiding. You don't know what their plans are. You don't see the blueprint of what they're doing, the way they're organizing behind the scenes. So you're like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Oh, now you see the other man and you're like, I'm hungry.
But they want
the same thing you want. So now it's like, but what about me? So now y'all can fight each other, whatever. I don't give a damn. Just leave women and children alone. That's all I care about at the end of the day. Y'all can go fight in your wars, never come back. I don't care. No, I'm sorry, but I just don't.
That's what happens. Yeah, your predatory self just gets unleashed onto the enemy, which is, again, it's just other people. But you're so comfortable in that role of predator that you don't really care. You'll just do it. You'll blow up the children, the children's hospitals and the schools, and you'll rape the women. Well, it's what
true.
they do. Like, you're still a predator, even in that environment, and you're only making it worse. And it's, that's also what we mean when we say all men. It's like when men go to war, the one thing that happens consistently is the raping and murdering of women and children.
Absolutely.
The innocent civilians. Just for fun. Just because these men just are like, oh.
They can get away with it.
And they talk about it in such casual ways. Like I was reading this interview that this guy gave about being in the IDF and like, literally dragging families out and like dragging the 18-year-old daughter out. And like, why would you even, you know what I'm saying? It's like right then and there, I already know what you did to that girl. Like, that's fucked up. Yeah, so that's just like part of life for men. Like, kind of like the graphic says, there's men who think that predation is an unfortunate fact of life.
They do.
Men are like, it's forced doctrine. Like, men get to control women because we're physically stronger. Okay. Then how do women control you? You know what I'm saying? Like, who controls you? Because it sounds like you can only be controlled by force. Do you know what I'm saying? Women don't actually need to be controlded by force. If you leave women alone, they create community.
The strongest, most tough, beefiest man can literally be neutralized with a hollow point bullet. At the end of the day, the hollow point bullets, or any bullet really, is the great equalizer. So if you feel like you have the right to lord over women because you're stronger, women have the right to put a bullet in your head in her self-defense. She's defending herself. That's her Second Amendment right.
Force doctrine is a zero-sum game. Live by the sword, die by the sword type shit. Like, that is what women are gonna do.
Absolutely.
Women have always had to resort to physical violence, and then we get demonized for it. And then it's like, how dare they? Like, women are violent. They're carrying around guns and they're hurting innocent men. That's what it always ends up.
There's no such thing as an innocent man,
being. I even believe there was like a joke in the show BoJack Horseman about this, where like women got guns, and then like immediately all the news media was like, no, women should not be allowed to own guns.
Oh, they were terrified.
They just basically did a realistic reenactment of it. But I want to kind of go down the chart here too, that like the heroic men who will intervene. I want to talk about that too, because I also think that like the graphic is almost kind of generous. Like I when was the last time?
I know.
When was the last? I believe that there was actually a man who was like in the hospital for stepping in and like stopping a mass shooter. He like apprehended him or whatever. And he was in the hospital and people raised $1 million for him. $1 million for him. But I thought men did that all the time.
Right.
I thought it was like men's nature. Why would you need to be rewarded?
Absolutely.
Why would he not? Like, I hope he rejected all that money. I hope he said, no, that's just, men are protectors. Like,
of course he did.
I was just doing what I was supposed to do, but no. Right? And I'm just genuinely trying to think, because every time I see something bad happening, there's never a man there to stop it.
Absolutely never.
Especially never like the white cis hetero men that fancy themselves, you know, the white knights and saviors and, you know, what's it called? Like the people that are going to intervene, the Avengers, you know. No, like that's not you. You're not doing any of
Not
that.
at all.
Even like in meetings, even when women are just being disrespected casually, where are the heroic men that are intervening? They're nowhere to be found.
They
like,
flat out say, this ain't my business. That ain't got nothing to do with me.
This ain't my business.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's usually women that help other women, even when it comes to like leaving DV situations,
Everything.
confronting people, saving somebody who's something bad's happening to. So then you have well-meaning men who underestimate the issue. If you are so well-meaning, why the fuck would you underestimate the issue that millions of women are like telling you about? Like that's is known.
Yeah.
Like the World Health Organization cites violence against women as an epidemic. Why the fuck?
That's terrifying.
I thought men were logical. I thought men enjoyed studies and findings and statistics, and they always ask for that. They always ask for facts
us.
and findings and stuff. So then when you give it to them, they're like, no, like it can't be that bad. So if you're so well-meaning, why the fuck would you ever underestimate it? You're not well-meaning. You mean well towards yourself.
Absolutely.
Because again, you just don't want to be lumped in with all these other men. Guess what? I've lumped you in anyway.
Yeah, you're going to be lumped in
If you ever
anyway.
minimize women's issues,
you're automatically
all
that
the men.
guy.
You're the men that
Absolutely.
we're talking about. Yeah. So then we get to the point of men who think predation is an unfortunate fact of life. And these are the men that will be like, what was she wearing? Why was she at the party? Da, da, da. They're like, it's a fact of life. We all know what happens.
Why does that?
Okay.
But why though? Why does that happen?
Why? Yeah. Yeah. And then you have men who think certain women deserve it, but aren't active predators. I would beg to differ. I think they are active predators. Like if you think that a woman deserved it.
Yeah, that makes you a predator because you're either enjoying it physically or you're enjoying it mentally. You still have a predator mindset.
Which means you can be a danger at any point.
At any point. Absolutely.
Like keyword active, you know? And then you have men who passively enjoy / consume / encourage predation. And yeah, these are the men that will laugh at fucked up jokes or make fucked up jokes or, you know, whatever. And again, I'm like, that is predatory. You are contributing to the larger like normalization of us laughing at things like women's rape, death, violence against women, like all of that. If you're encouraging it, then that means you can see a benefit to it.
Oh, absolutely.
Because why else would you encourage it?
Absolutely.
Passively. I don't know. That just doesn't seem passive to me. Like
it seems maybe not aggressive, but assertive. Definitely not passive. You're asserting that you're heading in that direction for sure. Definitely not passive. I just mentally, like, I don't know how men like this, I don't even know how they can sleep at night. Like, you know, they say no sleep for the wicked. Maybe they don't sleep. I don't know. Maybe they do lose sleep. But it's just like, you are nothing. You're the problem.
Yeah.
You are the
literally.
problem.
And again, and like even within this graphic, which I really like it, you know, but something about the way some of these things are worded is still not really sitting right with me because it's like dismissing a lot of men. It's like, oh, well, you just enjoy it / encourage it / passively participate in it. Like, oh, okay. Well, like, I don't know. That seems to me.
It's just as harmful.
And then you have, exactly. And then all the way down at the end, it's kind of like you still only have the really bad ones, like all the way at the end. The textbook predators we're aware of, and then monsters so cruel we can't even fathom them, which I do think that's like a good distinction rather than just crazed evil men, because that takes a lot of responsibility off. Like he just snapped, like he just went crazy. No, these are textbook predators and monsters so evil that we really cannot imagine. Like that's very factual. Some of these men have literally zero empathy and they use the institutional powers because this isn't about individual men. Like, I really hope that that was not lost on people. Like, this is not the way to judge individual men. The way to judge individual men is by their actions. The way to judge men as a group is also by their actions, which is why And let me know when you're ready because I have a little frequently asked questions section at the end.
Okay.
For all the devil's advocates. But yeah, so I'll get back into that.
Okay. No, I was just gonna say, after you pass heroic men who will intervene, after you cut that off, starting from well-meaning men who underestimate the issue, I feel like that's the natural segue. Like, I think men who end up at the end, the monstrous, cruel men, probably started somewhere where it's like, if they didn't start at well-meaning who underestimate the issue, they probably started at like men who thinks predation is an unfortunate fact of life, and then they work their way up through each one of those phases. It's almost like a progression.
That's a great point. Yes.
So you are either, even if you're not that man now, you might become that. You might move up that chart. Just because you already have the mindset that, oh, this is what happens. It's normal. This is a normal part of life. And then it's
I love that you said that.
Yeah. That's how I feel.
It is so much easier to move up that chart than to move back down it.
Oh, you can never, I don't think you can ever move back down the chart. Wherever you are on that chart, you can't go backwards, in my opinion. Let me think. Let me look at these. No, because you go from well-meaning men to men who think this is a part of life to men who think certain women deserve it, which is like that mindset. You enjoy it because you think they deserve it. And then you go to men who passively enjoy, consume, encourage it. And then textbook predators, and then monstrous. It's like you can really only go towards monstrous.
I would say, yeah, unless you are on that very first step.
I was just going to say.
You're one of the like well-meaning men who underestimate the issue.
Absolutely.
And if being exposed to the issue makes you like one of the men that's like, it is all men.
Yeah.
It is all men.
Yeah.
It's all men until it's no men. I get it now. I just wasn't aware. I did not grow up with,
Absolutely.
Whatever. There's men that genuinely like don't have a lot of women in their lives growing up. And so they do unfortunately underestimate the issue because they're not constantly exposed to it. And they have no reason to really seek it out for themselves. But outside of that, it's like very hard to go down the scale.
Yeah. If you are a man who thinks it's an unfortunate part of life, your chances is higher that you're going to go up that scale than backwards even. So you probably can. It takes a lot more work at that level, in my opinion. Because I think you can probably be a man who thinks this just happens. This is just normal. And then you can grow up and you can do that work and be like, you know what? No, it shouldn't be this way. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to certain things with, like I think of Public, for an example, because Public said that he used to have certain thoughts, not like the far end thoughts, because I don't think you can come back from that. But he used to talk about how he had certain thoughts about like, yeah, I mean, this is certain things that just happen. But no. Actually, no, we are the problem. Actually, I realize we are the problem. So I think
Well, he's a critical thinker.
Yeah, he's a critical thinker.
You can't fool people like that.
That's what I'm saying. And so I think for the most part, in order for you to go back on that scale, you would have to either be the heroic man or be well-meaning. A well-meaning man who actually wants to grow and who actually wants to do that work. After that level, it's a done deal.
It's over. And I don't know. I don't want to open this whole can of worms right now in this episode because we've opened it before and go back and look.
Yeah.
But I think that the state of porn right now, the state of like how men are being exposed to women through that, through pornography, I think is a huge contributor to like, they start in the fucking middle of the scale, I think. Like if you're watching pornography on a regular basis and you're seeking out more and more extreme stuff, you are wiring your brain to not think of women as people.
Absolutely.
And so there's that. And it's because like men are in charge of the porn industry, unfortunately. And so it is extremely dehumanizing to women. The kind of stuff that gets, put out and watched the most is like the most taboo thing.
Yep.
Like you talked about, there's a lot of men that will just watch crazy shit because they're addicted to that feeling of violence, like the rush that it gives them. And it's like, you're in the middle of the scale if you do that.
Automatically.
Like if you're a man, the best thing you can ever do for yourself, if you want to be one of the not all men, do not watch porn. Literally just don't watch porn and your life will change for the better.
I totally agree. I know that's going to be damn near impossible for most of them because they don't have any control over it. They just don't have any self-control. I agree with you. It starts right. You start automatically in the middle because you're going to see some of those women who deserve, these men who think certain women deserve mistreatment.
Yep.
Right in the middle. And the more you watch it, the more you're going to lean more towards. And then, I remember it was a show some years ago. I want to say it was probably 20-something years. But maybe, was it Oprah? I don't remember what show it was, but they were talking about the effects of like sexual molestation in girls and boys, how little boys or young boys tend to do to their little sister or their little cousin what they seen on a porn site or in a magazine or whatever. And so that's your proof right there that they will actually act that stuff out in real life after they've seen it. Because if you think about it, where did you get this from? You've seen this somewhere. You either watched it in real life, with your uncle or your dad or something, you walked in on them or something, or you were watching, certain things on a porn site or in a movie, a very X-rated, like rated R, like regular movie. Because it's like, where else did you get this from? So it can even start just being a little boy wanting to experiment on little girls what you saw on a porn site or something. And so, I think their behavior just gets more devious even from there. For the male species, it can start at any age. It can be 5 years old, 7 years old, or it could start when they're 12, 13, going through puberty, or it can start in college. That scale it can start anywhere.
And honestly, again, I just, every time we talk about stuff like this, it's very important for y'all to know, because I know people are going to come screaming in the comments, what is up about men? They're not naturally. Yeah, we know. It's because they have all of these opportunities to do so. When boys pick on little girls, we just say it's okay. Oh, he does that because he likes you. Yeah, he's just a boy. Like, don't pay attention to him, like whatever. And we co-sign it as a society all along, every step of the way. It's like boys are superheroes. I just saw, we had too much tea for this week, but I had this picture where someone took a picture of two onesies side by side. Onesies, babies. And the boys was like, I'm super. And it was like superhero themed and it had like, whatever. And then the girls onesie said, I hate my thighs.
Oh my God.
So yeah, like we're just like, whatever you do as a boy is because you're awesome. Like, whatever, so that it makes sense why boys kind of grow up thinking in these terms, like, well, this stuff just happens. Like, this is just the way of life or whatever.
Yes, this does just happen because of men. No. If men didn't exist, none of these things would happen.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. That's the bottom line at the end of the day. But it's like our society is also set up for this to happen. If we treated the things that boys do as just as unacceptable as when it comes to girls, being mean, being just not nice to a boy, if we treated little boys' offenses as seriously as that, we'd be living in a different world.
Absolutely.
That's all I can say.
Totally different world.
Okay, so we have an FAQ where these are the devil's advocates responses that women always get when we say it is all men, or like, why are men like this, or men are trash, or whatever. So there's always the this is an unfair way to judge a whole group of people. Like, this is so like lacks nuance, whatever. And it's like, but you do it too. If you needed help for real, you would go to a woman. Absolutely. If you needed a babysitter, you would find a female babysitter. Absolutely. If you came, like we talked about, if you came to a daycare and it was staffed by men, top to bottom, you would turn your car around. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, but you would. So you as a man, you do it too. In fact, you're not gonna ask men for help. You're not gonna.
No,
that's just not something.
They see it as weakness.
You're not gonna feel safe around a man. You also feel unsafe walking in a dark alley. Absolutely, because of a man. If it was, you're not afraid of women lurking. Yeah,
you're not afraid of women coming to gang rape you or. Even rob you for your wallet. You're not afraid of that.
No, even though I do try to encourage the robbing thing.
I know, right?
But women are just not doing it. Men are really lucky because women actually refuse to sink to their level of depravity, but That's a whole nother episode.
It is.
And that episode is going to be titled Misandry is Not Real.
Right.
Then there's the question of, why do men have to protect women in the first place?
You wouldn't have to if it wasn't for men.
You wouldn't have to. Same reason y'all want to attack us in the first place.
If it wasn't for men, you wouldn't have to protect us from anything.
You wouldn't have to protect women.
You know how we love saying, protect us from who?
Yeah.
From what?
Exactly. Exactly. They're like, I guess we don't owe you our protection then since you want equality. It's like a woman would actually protect you.
We wouldn't need your
dumbass.
Protection if it wasn't for men.
Like, I really feel like there's been probably more women that have protected men in the long run than there have been men that have protected women.
Absolutely.
Women are suckers, dude.
We are.
Then we've got I've personally never done that, so I feel like it's a bit unfair.
So because you haven't done it, you don't think it happens? Well, what does that mean?
Also, luckily, I judge you as an individual. Like, that only tells me of how you think about other people.
Yeah.
And women, you think we're all liars. You think we're all like whatever. Oh, I've personally never done that. Well, good thing we're judging each other based off of our actions since we know each other in real life. Like, what do you mean? Why are you afraid I'm going to lump you in with all these other men unless you do all of those actions? Yeah. And you just don't want me to think of you like that. You want me to ignore them. You want me to live in the cognitive dissonance of like, well, he does all this dumb shit, but he gets really mad when I bring it up. And he'll be like, it's not all men. Like, that's really what those men are trying to accomplish.
Right.
So, and then we've got if we reverse the roles, wouldn't that be sexist? And that one's my favorite. I love to address this one because I'm like, do it then, reverse it. Yeah. Because I've had, men bring up, oh, women are just as bad, blah, blah, blah. They'll be like, yeah, for every Jeffrey Epstein, there's a Ghislaine Maxwell. And I'm like, she is literally in jail.
Oh my God, I love it.
She is in jail.
The only one that's in jail.
We can flip the tables. Yeah. Do you know how fucking stupid and ridiculous you would sound, though? Being like, women commit 3% of all violent crime. They're just as bad as men.
3% is just as bad as 97%? Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
On what planet?
Yeah.
On what planet can you even compare the two?
You would sound fucking dumb. What about the single fathers? How many of them?
It's like 10.
Oh, women are just as bad as men. Which women? Name them.
It's like 10.
Name
it's
them.
Like 10 single fathers.
Let's put all the evidence in a pile. How about that? We can. I love it. I would actually love it if you flipped the tables.
I would love that too.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I challenge them to do that. I challenge y'all to flip the tables on every issue. And they're gonna like not show up because they're gonna realize, damn. There is no comparison.
I'm going to sound stupid.
The scales are like this. They're not even close to being like this. They're like that.
Yeah. Women do that too. Okay. How many?
Right.
How many women have ever done that? 5? 10?
Listen.
And we're talking about something that thousands of men do, like basically on a daily basis. Like, okay. So yeah, that's been our FAQ. So once again, go ahead and delete those paragraphs because there's really no room for comparison. If you were to say something like, oh, it's all women, you certainly wouldn't be talking about violence. You wouldn't be talking about like sexism. Yeah. You wouldn't be talking about like institutional harassment. You wouldn't be talking about sexual harassment. All women don't do that. Yeah. All women don't stand by. While people do that, by the way, too, because when women are accused of things like that, sexual harassment, defamation, etc., false accusations, right? Mm-hmm. When women are accused of that, us other women are expected to be fair. Like, we can't have girl code around that because then we're just as bad as the men and we're condoning violence and blah, blah, blah. We don't even have an easy way out. So we have to hold other women accountable.
Right.
Otherwise, it's going to be like, well, you don't hold women accountable.
That's the craziest
part.
So
it's like, go ahead and flip it. Yeah. What is all women? What do all women do?
Wear makeup.
Tell us in the comments.
We wear makeup. Yeah. We like to look pretty. Mm-hmm. Many women are so-called gold diggers, maybe.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
things that literally don't harm you.
What gold?
They literally. I know,
my
but
problem
I'm just saying.
too.
We don't
what gold?
harm
97% of these men don't
have
even
any gold to dig
for. So it's like, if all women are gold diggers, then okay.
Even so, it doesn't harm you.
It doesn't harm you.
Anything that all women do doesn't harm you. You're not harmed. Your ego might be harmed at the most, but that's it. Like, you're not harmed. Misandry doesn't harm men. Misogyny harms women, though. on a regular basis.
And men.
And other men.
Misogyny harms
And
men
other
too.
men.
That's the reason why there's a loneliness epidemic, and men can't be like, we're going to do a whole episode on that.
Yes.
We're going to have to. So keep an eye out for that. But next week, we're going to have one of our favorite guests making a return. The one, the only, horrible, mean, bad woman, affectionately also known as Sarah, our dear friend, is going to be back on the pod to teach us how to be a horrible, mean, bad woman. So make sure you tune in next week. We really do. We really do. So we are going to give you some tips on that. And when we return, we're going to do our special edition of Therapy or the Void named Wood Chipper or the Void because we are talking about the manosphere. So stick around. We'll be right back.
I love wood chippers. Fucking hilarious.
All right, welcome back. We have our special edition of our film review segment that for this week is going to be Wood Chipper or the Void because I think unfortunately our contestants are beyond the point of therapy. The kind of shit that these men are out here doing and talking about, there's only really two places for them to go. I think we are going to leave the women out of it because they need to go to therapy and that's not an option today. So we're just not going to cover the women in the documentary, only to say that, I don't know if you remember this, but Myron Gaines' girlfriend actually broke up with him.
Yeah, I heard.
After the documentary. Yeah. So she gets a gold star.
Absolutely.
How about that? She gets a gold star for that because good for her. And I love the shot that they put of her in the documentary. She's just rollerblading away to her best,
her new destiny.
Happiest, best life. I hope so. I really hope
That's
so.
so funny.
Okay, so we are going to start with, so we have our contestants today are Harrison Sullivan, also known as HS Tiki Talkie. We have Ed Matthews. We have Justin Waller. We have Myron Gaines. And the last one we have is Sneeko. So should we rank them from best to worst? Like who's going to the Void?
Well, all of them. Well, the Void.
The Void is like the nicer version.
Or the
I think
wood
the
chipper.
Wood Chipper is I
will put them all
gonna
in
be
wood
more
chipper,
painful.
just hands down, honestly.
Okay.
The Void.
I was gonna say
the guy who had the mom who didn't raise him that way. Which one was that again?
Oh, that's HS Tiki Talkie.
Allegedly, didn't raise him that way.
Yeah.
Maybe
they both.
Do you think he has any
them.
redeemable qualities at all? Maybe.
No, him nor his mom. I think she should go to the Void.
Okay.
She sucks. He was like, "Mommy, I don't want any juice."
Stop.
Oh my God. He said, "Mom, I don't want any fruit snacks." Or she was trying to make him eat something. And
so she's a boy mom.
She's a boy mom through and through.
Okay, she can go to the Wood Chipper
Void.
Or the Void.
And I think he can go to the Wood Chipper because he is awful. Like, he's a legit, like, I don't know. He was kind of the worst of them to me. If anyone I'm going to send to the Void, it's probably going to be Sneeko because he was actually like a little horrified at what like his fans, the kind of stuff that they were repeating, but only because it kind of affects him because they were saying like racist things. And he was like, oh my gosh, like, what have I done? What have I created? Yeah. And now he's more of like a conspiracy theory guy, which is still terrible. But for me, I just don't really care. Like, he can go the painless way into the Void. It's fine.
He strikes me as one of those guys that might possibly see the light one day when he's older. Because I don't think
all the conspiracy theories might lead him like full circle to sanity. I've seen that happen. I've seen that happen.
Only because I think a lot of what he does is for male approval. I've heard him speak a few times, and I kind of got the vibe that he knows a lot of things are wrong, but he just don't want to be outcasted out of the cult of man. Shout out to public offender. And right now at his age, that's more important. And it's like one day he might come around. I'm not saying he will. I'm not saying that at all. He might get worse, but he strikes me as he could. He has the potential to come around. But right now he's going to the Void, and the rest of them are going to the Wood Chipper as far as I'm concerned. Oh, and we have to clarify. Are we putting their entire bodies in the wood chipper or just their peens?
Peen first. How about that?
Okay. And if they don't get better, then their peens and their brains, because we don't want their brains thinking of any, like, conjuring up more depravity.
Right. No, I just think peen first so that it's like insult to injury.
Yeah, okay.
You're still going through the wood chipper.
Because without that, you're essentially nothing, right? Without your peen.
As a man.
According to the
podcast
bros like you.
Exactly.
That's what makes
Not
you a man.
according to us, but yeah, that's what makes you a man. So, I mean, I guess that could be a good way to like rehabilitate. You know, that was actually started by men.
What?
So chopping other men's peens off. That was never, you would think that would be like a women's thing.
Yeah.
Nope. There's actually only one woman in all of recorded history, Lorena Bobbitt.
Yes.
That we know
so
of.
True.
Outside of that, men used to, like powerful rulers and kings and stuff, they used to have harems. But then, like, to keep the women from running away, they would have to have male, like, guards, basically male overseers. But they didn't want those men
being able to sleep with the women.
That's crazy. And so that's what a eunuch is.
Yeah, I've heard of
a
eunuchs.
eunuch is a man with no genitals because another man cut them off so that he couldn't fuck his women, his harem of women. So just before y'all go calling us, terrible women and terrible people, which we do aspire to be, by the way.
Absolutely.
Like, we're literally bringing somebody on the podcast next week to teach us how to be more horrible as women. But we're still not that depraved, to be honest.
Reason. To me, the only possible acceptable reason for cutting a man's peen off if he was a rapist. Like, if you rape people, then you deserve.
We don't even do that.
You deserve to have your peen cut off. That's it. I can't think of anything like that of all things. Like another man who would know how horrible that would be to lose your peen. The patriarchy hurts men. Like, I just can't. I can't even imagine being a man who had his penis chopped off, and you have to walk around life every day without any pleasure. Without anything. Like, you don't have nothing.
All because of another man.
All because of another man decided.
Because another man knows you won't be able to control yourself around his women. Like, I'm sorry, that's what it comes down to. It's like,
I just can't.
Men operate. So tell me, how is it that men don't think it's all men? If you literally gotta cut other men's dicks off that are in your employ, then it is all men. Because you thought he was going to rape your women or, try and get it in. So you cut it off. Okay, so I do agree the rest of them go into the wood chipper, especially that Justin Waller guy who was like, oh yeah, my wife and I have like an open marriage, but only on my side. And then he was like, trying to tell this to the guy making the documentary, Louis Theroux, and he was like, you seem offended by that. And the guy was like, oh, I'm not. I'm just like asking you questions. He's like, yeah, I can tell you're offended. Like, people always get offended when I bring that up. And I don't know why. Like, people just get offended. And it's like, bro, you want to be cool so bad. You literally, it's kind of like Myron Gaines also being like, yeah, my girl packs me condoms when I go on vacation and blah, blah, blah. First of all,
that's so disgusting.
I just know you're leaving those condoms behind at the hotel.
I know.
Like, so that she thinks you're having sex with me. Like, I just know you're not doing that. Like, the men that talk about it the most and then they expect people to get upset. They're like, yeah, people get upset with me when I say this. It's because you're only saying it to get a reaction.
Absolutely.
You're not living that life.
Absolutely.
You're not living that life. And nobody wants your dusty.
And even if he was, I'm pretty sure he's probably not even using the condoms in general. That's the most diabolical
also lying
part.
To women.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably also like not telling them you have a wife or girlfriend at home because most women won't fuck you then.
Yeah.
So it's like, you have to lie, you have to cheat, you have to. It's so pathetic. You're going in the wood chipper.
Why is it so hard for men to just find them a good woman and be good to that woman and just get out of the, what do you call it, the patriarchal matrix? Like, don't you want to be free mentally from this? Like, I don't even understand why you would even want to. Don't you just want to be Russell Wilson and not care what men think? Because you got like the best woman on the planet, AKA Sierra. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't understand why that's the hard choice for some men. Like that's hard to just find you a good woman and just be a good dude. Why? My brain, I can't.
They're fighting demons. Sovereign, when I tell you, like, I had to do that episode just so I could say this in every following episode and, like, people would know what we mean
we're
when
referencing,
we say that.
yeah.
Yeah, because literally it's, like, the best way to think of it. And as we said in that episode, so, like, shout out to you because that it changed my vocabulary. Like, it changed the way that I think about these things. Because it's like, as we said in that video, it's like they're fighting the demons of the patriarchy that were unleashed on them by the patriarchy. Like, you wouldn't have these problems. You wouldn't be fighting these things otherwise. So it's like the joke is on you still at the end of the day.
I saw a comment that said the only demons that these men are fighting are themselves. They themselves are the demon. Yeah. Oh my God, I just cackled.
Yeah. There's so many great ways to utilize that analogy. Yeah. I don't know. So okay, Myron Gaines. We know how we feel. He's going in.
He's top of the list going into the wood chipper. He's going in a double wood chipper. So after his remains are all chipped up, we're going to take the basket and re-pour it into another
re-pour it in just to make sure. You know, it's kind of like when you're trying to kill a poltergeist or something, like you're trying to kill a vampire. Like, you got to make sure.
You got to make sure.
They're really, really dead. No, you really do. You got to make sure because.
That's another one. I
what
think
if he comes back?
No. He might because he's fighting a lot of demons. In my opinion, Myron, however many demons there are that men can fight. So let's just say there's 57 of them. He's fighting all 57 demons, in my opinion.
All 57.
Like all of them.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think like if you put him only through the wood chipper once, he would come back.
He's going to find a way to come back.
He's going to find a way to come back. Okay. And this is how he would come back. I don't know if you ever watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles growing up.
Yeah.
Do you remember the guy that has like the brain inside of his like...
I think so.
inside of his belly or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that the Myron Gaines like pulp, he would just, put it on. What's the podcast co-host guy's name?
The other one?
Walter Weeks. Isn't that his co-host?
Oh, Fresh and Fit.
Fresh and Fit.
Yeah. So he's fit?
Yeah. So okay, I don't know. But one of them.
Yeah. The black
one of
dude.
them would give up his body. He would hollow out his body.
Yes, he would.
And then Myron would be like so the thing that's yes, thank you, Ryan. Yes, this is how it would look like. I'm just picturing the sentient pulp.
Please.
Existing.
Oh my God. That's so funny that this is...
So you got to put him through twice.
That's funny this is the image you got, because the image I got was, remember on Terminator, the second one? The movie Terminator, the liquid metal. Remember when they like... I don't remember if he got shot. Anyway, somehow he broke into a lot of pieces and then his metal melted and it all just formed back together again. You know what I'm talking about?
Dude, fueled by his pure misogyny.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's definitely how I picture it. You gotta like take extra precautions. And then I don't remember there was any other guys.
What about the guy who did the documentary himself?
I have conflicting feelings about him because I think he could have done a better job.
I do too. I want to know what his motive was, because his motive didn't seem like it was trying to necessarily dismantle it, but to like it was like a pissing contest. From what I saw from the beginning.
That's what I'm saying, because why was he like, at the end, he was like, yeah, and I punched the thing too, and I broke a personal record. Like, bro, don't piss me off.
Oh
like,
my God.
You're like dick measuring with these guys. Like, you have insecurities that you should have worked on before you started doing this documentary. And I know people are going to get in the comments and be like, that's just his style of documentary filmmaking. Well, guess what? Like,
maybe
being a good documentary filmmaker requires like critical thinking.
Yeah.
It requires like, okay,
and
so
versatility.
if I just, and thank you. And versatility and being able to step out of your usual box and do something different if the subject calls for it. Because people always say like, that's just his thing. Like, he just lets people talk and, kind of expose themselves and whatever. And it's like, we don't live in that world anymore. These people are talking and exposing themselves constantly. You did absolutely nothing new.
Nothing different. Yeah.
You're acting like this is an underground circle, that you're like an underground fraternity that you're exposing. These people have millions of followers. Yes. So by just letting them come up there and say the things that they're already saying to young, impressionable children without ever debunking it, without ever like dismantling.
You know who I think would have been perfect to do a documentary that would actually expose the misogyny and the hypocrisy and expose like why it's wrong? I think if Public decided
I was going to say that's exactly who
if Public ever decided to do that, he would be the perfect person to do a documentary.
I think so because
he knows all the angles.
Frankly, he does this way better every single day. Just go to one of his lives and he's doing what needs to be done. Like he's doing what Louis Theroux should have done and being like, you're fucking dumb if you think like this.
And his partner in crime could possibly be Shannon, controversial Shannon. I'm just throwing somebody else out there because they do the same work. But that Public would be the top of the list. If you ever watch this, Public,
I was gonna say I actually couldn't think of.
You should definitely consider doing a documentary, a Menace for documentary, because he's already so good at this. Like he's so good at this already, and I could only imagine if he decided to write a book or decided to do a documentary, it would kick ass for sure. I'll be the number one person supporting it.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, for sure. Real. I would support it. I would promote it. I would do all of that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he could have did a better job. What's his name? Louis Theroux? Louis
Theroux, yeah. I would say we'll make an exception for him and we maybe should send him to therapy. Like
Therapy.
He maybe should go to therapy and try again. But that's probably me just being very lenient with a man. Like, I don't know, maybe send him to the void. And let a woman do it. Maybe let a woman make the
void. Oh, absolutely. Send him to the void again, and if he don't get it right the second time, then wood chipper.
Okay. All right. A purgatory. Void. Purgatory. I love it. All right. Louis is in purgatory, and all the other guys are...
Until further notice.
And all the other guys are in the wood chipper.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have some poll results to read off, and we do have a recommendation for y'all. It's a very short TikTok video that we were actually going to play as part of the episode, but it is a man explaining why it's all men, and it could be a very helpful resource because it's a man, and we've talked about this before, I think as early as last week, that sometimes when a man says something, it just is easier for everybody to see how true it is. Like, I hate this, but if you're ever arguing with someone, especially a man, who's like insisting it's not all men, blah, 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 and you need a resource to be able to share or send to him or send to other women, whatever, we have a great video where a man breaks down why it is, in fact, all men.
Yep.
So that's going to be our recommendation. And then let's read some of our poll results. So we have our demon poll that's come back this week. And the question was, what do you think is at the root of most men's demons? So the answers were A, emotional repression and shame, B, insecurity and fear of inadequacy, C, entitlement and desire for control, or D, pressure to perform masculinity.
Oh, that's a good one. All of the above, but B, maybe B?
Well, actually, I think most people chose C.
Okay.
But B was pretty popular and D was pretty popular.
Okay.
I do think it can come off as entitlement and desire for control because that's what it turns into. Like the patriarchy tells men that they have to be in control.
Yeah.
And so they kind of act that out. But as we said, I think the furthest thing upstream is the patriarchy. The thing that makes men feel emotional repression and shame, insecurity and fear of inadequacy, entitlement, and pressure to perform masculinity. That's all the patriarchy. Yep. The most upstream source is the patriarchy. Let me see about the comments because I've been promising to read comments on these posts. Well, someone said themselves, they are the demon. It's deflection. I like that. Someone said, I believe seeing the world through hierarchy is at the root. Once you decide to be better than others, a social connection itself unravels. It's easier to undermine others to win than it is to better yourself, which is risky. Lowering others creates sexism, racism, and always finding a vulnerable group to degrade. You cannot risk accountability because it lowers you on a hierarchy. Blaming a group for your failures puts them down. And so she says that the hierarchy creates the crabs in a bucket scenario. For sure. Well, thanks y'all for contributing to the conversation, for voting in the polls. We will have our next film poll out in just a couple of weeks. So let us know what you'd like to see on that. I always check our last post and see if anybody recommended any other things. So make sure you drop those recommendations. And we have been collecting episode suggestions from the Patreon. So keep an eye out for those and stay safe out there. As always, we love you. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.